Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with the next update for my Pan Those Eyeshadows. This project was created by Alexi or Alexandra here on YouTube, and I will have her link down below. She hasn't been posting for quite a while now, but she is over on Instagram if you want to check her out. And she has old playlists with this project, and there's also so much content to binge if you are enjoying this project. I'm sure you have all seen loads of Pan Those Eyeshadows videos already though, so I'm not going to dwell on about it too long. But before you jump into the products, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you in the family. Let's jump into the eyeshadows. So I'm doing my products slightly different this year. I am using 4 shades only, and I have a usage goal of 15 or a threshold of 15 uses, so I can either hit pan or use my eyeshadows 15 times, and it depends on kind of the eyeshadow, but some of them I don't necessarily want to hit pan on yet, and that's why I put in a 15 uses threshold. And I'm also panning a lot of eyeshadow this year. I'm very overwhelmed with the amount of eyeshadows that I'm having in different projects, so I just wanted to put that threshold there so I don't, you know, feel too overwhelmed. But I'm gonna go through the 4 shades that I've had in now, and I always start with the oldest one, so let's go ahead and jump into that one. So all of the eyeshadows that I have in this time are single, so I do have them all in my magnetic palette. But let's start with the first shade, which is a Source Skies from Terramoons. I have a swatch right here. You can see there, I think it is one of their neon mattes, and it's this kind of beautiful I would say like aqua blue probably. It's really nice. I've had this in now for 2 months, and as of the last update I had used this 4 times, so not too many, but it's hard to incorporate such a bright kind of shade into everyday basis. I am wearing this today though, in my crease, and as kind of like the base for the shimmer shade I'm wearing a different blue to deepen things up though. But I do use it mainly in my crease. I have used it on my lower lash line a handful of times, but in the past month I have used this 7 times, and this is where this eyeshadow is today. So you can definitely see that I do have a little bit of a dip in this one, and I'm now on 11 uses, so I have 4 more uses to go before I hit my goal. But I'm excited that I now have a dip, and this one I will definitely be able to hit my goal on by next month. I don't think I'll be able to hit pan on this in the next month. I definitely could have if I wanted to, because it is such a crumbly shade. But I'm very gentle when I use it. If I wasn't so gentle, I definitely think I could have hit pan by now. But like I said, some of the shadows I don't necessarily want to hit pan on, and that is kind of what I wanted to put that 15 usage goal in, because then I'm not so inclined to use like, not waste eyeshadow, but just kind of use specific brushes to like dig more into the center, and then therefore kind of use more product than is necessary, if that makes sense. But yeah, that is where I'm with this eyeshadow, and like I said, there's a nice dip going. You can definitely see that I've used it, which is also what I want this year. I don't want necessarily just want to have pans. I do want to have a few dips and stuff as well, so that my collection just looks a bit more all around used rather than just like unused and then pan. But that is where I'm with this eyeshadow, and hopefully this will be out by next month. The second eyeshadow that I have is the shade Sunbeam from Cleona. It's this one here. You can mainly see it as a gold sheen, I think, but it has a pink base. I don't know if you can pick it up right there, but it has a pink base shifting into like gold, green, and then blue at the very end. It's a beautiful shadow, and I like using this both on my lids as well as my inner corner, so it's a very versatile shade as well. Again, I rolled this one in last month, so it's only been in for 1 month, and so far I have used this one 7 times, and this is what it looks like. There's definitely a dip going in this eyeshadow. I did have this in a project last year as well, so I did get a lot of use on it then, so that is probably also why there's a dip forming, but I'm very excited to see that. And I do have 8 more uses to go with this eyeshadow, and I definitely think I'll be able to roll this one out by next month as well. I think I could have rolled this out this month if I didn't have so many like non-makeup days, because yeah, I didn't wear makeup very much, and then I was behind on panning, and I just had to like decide which eyeshadows to focus on, and this just wasn't one of them. I didn't want to like rush through this eyeshadow because I love it, but again, this will definitely be rolling out next month. Then below that we have the next eyeshadow, which is another Cleona eyeshadow. This one is one of their pastel multi-chromes, and this one is in the shade Tower. Don't know if you can see the shift in this one. It goes from like a blue to purple to a pink. It's not as strong as some of the other kind of shifty shades from Cleona, but it is still beautiful. And again, this one rolled in last month, so I only have 1 month of use on this one. And it's funny, I actually never used this eyeshadow before rolling it into the project. I swatched it but not used it, so it's been fun to play around with this one. But I did use it 5 times in the past month, and this is what it looks like now. Definitely you can see that it's been used. The Cleona imprint is gone from it, or like mostly gone, I think. I can kind of see where it used to be, but this one is definitely more firmly pressed than the glitter multichromes like the Sunbeam is, because it doesn't have as many glitter particles in it, so it's, yeah, it's not as kind of chunky, and it doesn't pick up as much product when I use it. So I don't think I'm going to create a dip really in this eyeshadow as I am doing with Sunbeam at the moment. But like I said, if I used on this one so far, I'm not sure I can roll this one out next month. I'm going to try, but I have so many blue eyeshadows that I'm panning currently. I realized recently that I'm panning a lot of blue, kind of similar tone to this one. And it's just been difficult to like rotate through all of them, and I've been very kind of burnt out on blue eyeshadow, so we'll see how it goes with this one. I'm gonna try to roll this one out next month, but I'm not sure if I will be able to. Otherwise it will definitely be out in 2 months time. Then the final eyeshadow that I have, I also rolled in last month. I had a good update last month with 3 new eyeshadows, and this one is a Colourpop pressed glitter in the shade Castaway, and this is what it looked like when I rolled it in. Again, I don't think I've even used this one because I don't really reach for my pressed glitters very often, but in the past month I used for this one 8 times, and this is what it looks like now. So hopefully you can see there that I was able to pan on this eyeshadow, and I don't think that comes as a surprise to anyone if you have ever used pressed glitters like this, because they are very chunky, and again, since the particles are so big, they pick up quite a lot every time, and they don't last as long as, okay, like, I don't know, they used to go faster than eyeshadows. And I also used this nail polish twice, which obviously helped as well to hit pan quicker. Did I even use it 3 times with nail polish? Maybe even 3 times. So that, like I said, helped, and then the rest was on my eyes. But this one will be rolling out now, and I'm happy to have another pan in my collection. And this was definitely one that I was foreseeing to hit my goal on this month anyway, even before hitting 15 uses. So I'm happy that I was able to do that. And this will be the only shade that I am rolling out. So I swatched out the remaining 3 shades, so that is my color story right now. Very, very similar, because obviously this kind of pressed glitter isn't, you know, it goes with the color story and it doesn't really add too much. So a very, very similar story for now, but we'll see what I get to roll in to add and if that changes up the color story a bit. But yeah, that is what I'm starting with. So let me pull out my spreadsheet and I will randomize a new shade. So I currently have 872 eyeshadows in my collection, and I have filmed on different videos, so that's why there's a number here. But I have put in the numbers 1 to 872. I'm gonna go ahead and randomize my number. When it comes to what I roll in, everything is fair game, apart from if it's too similar from something from my Pan palette, which is the Modern Renaissance palette. And if that happens, I will re-roll, but otherwise everything is fair game. So let's go ahead and see what I get. And we get 701. Okay, so we're sticking with the Cleona bandwagon because I got another Cleona shade. I do have all of the stained glass collection, so that's also probably why I'm rolling a lot of them, because it is a lot of my collection. But let's actually see how many I do have. I do actually have 93 Cleona eyeshadows, so that makes sense why I'm getting so many of them. But I don't mind because I love working on them. It's just a bit more boring for you guys to watch because I don't necessarily pan on them. But I'm foreseeing next update to have at least 2 or 3 shades out, so fingers crossed I will have some more kind of more exciting different brands rolling in next month. But the shade I rolled in is the shade Regal, which I will get and show you what it looks like. So I do have my new eyeshadow here, and this is what this one looks like. It is again a multichrome. It goes from like a purple to blue, and it has a green shift and like a orangey shift as well. It's really, really shifty and stunning. I love this. I do believe this is one of the glitter vibrant multichromes, which is one of their newest lines. This is the only shade in that line so far, but I do believe they're gonna release more of this type of shade later this year. But it is a beautiful shade. You can see the swatch over here, and this one is actually strong enough that you can pick up a little bit of the shift, at least like the kind of golden shift that I was talking about. But again, it has it goes into like a bluish kind of turquoise, and then a cobalt blue at the very end, and then it also has a little bit of like almost pink in it in the shift, the same that you can see like a it's just really, really dimensional. I love the shade, but I'm not really getting away from the blues and purples. It's a very similar shade to everything else that I'm panning, so that's a bit, you know, meh, not really what I wanted. But I'm again excited to reach for more of my Cleona eyeshadows, and I do think I reached for this shade once, but I always mix this one up with Royalty, so I might have reached for this one once. I need to check my spreadsheet where I track all my eyeshadow uses, but it's one that I haven't really reached for very much, so if I have reached for it, it's just once or twice. So that is my starting point. You could still see the Cleona imprint, but I did swatches, so it's kind of gone. Oh, you can see it a little bit there, but I'm excited to reach for this one and get some use out of this. So there you have the difference in color story. Again, not the biggest difference, but I wasn't expecting to because I had a lot of similar shades left over and the new one didn't really add too much to the color story, but I'm okay with that. At least they all go together somewhat, so I can make looks with them all together. And yeah, that is where my new color story is. So before I wrap up the video, I'm just gonna scooch to the side like I normally do, and I'm gonna go through some of my favorite looks, or like some of the looks that I did over the past month. So the first look I have right here is a look where I use my Pan palette, which is the Modern Renaissance again, and I used Bomb Fresco as well as Venetian Red, and those are kind of the shade that is like the purple tones and the mattes in this eyeshadow look. And then all over my lid I used the shade Tower from Cleona, which is this one right here, and that is kind of what you can see. And as you can see here, it looks very kind of bluish, I guess, but you can see in this look it turns more, or like it's leaning more purple, and it's really beautiful because it did definitely look blue, but then the shift kind of lent into like a purple, so it blended really nicely into Venetian Red at the end on my outer corner. And then lastly, on my lower lash line in this look I used a little bit of a Source Guys, just blended out to incorporate that one in this look as well. The second look I have is this one right here. Again, for mattes, I'm using my Pan palette. I do believe in this look I'm actually using Red Ochre and Realgar, I believe, and then blending out with like a bit of the lighter shades in the palette. For my lid, it looks like I'm wearing Tower, but I'm actually not. I'm wearing one of the other shades that I'm panning, which is from the Blueberry Muffin palette in the shade Tempting. Very, very similar to Tower. And then on my actual lid I am wearing the glitter shade, or like the inner part of my lid I'm wearing the glittery shade Castaway, and that is actually when I hit pan on this look. So just wanted to incorporate it because it is one of the few times I used Castaway in a photo, so I wanted to show you what it looked like. Moving on, we have this look right here, and obviously here you can see I'm using the shade Source Guys in my outer corners. I wanted to incorporate it into a look without it overpowering too much. It is definitely still a very kind of in your face shade. And then for shimmers, I actually can't really remember what I used for shimmers. It's obviously some sort of grey. It might be, oh, I think it's actually from my Magic Mini palette, which was my Project Level Up palette. I do believe I'm using the lighter silver shade in there, and I do actually believe I topped it off with Sunbeam just to give that a little sparkle. And that is the next look. Next up we have one of my favorite looks, because this was like a light, very springy type of look, and I used, you can see here, I used a purple shade which is originally from the It's My Pleasure palette, which is the shade Kittenfish. I used that all over my lid and into my crease. I literally used it all over, and then on my lid, basically in the lid, I topped it all off with Sunbeam, which is that shade right here, and then I also used it in my inner corners. It was a very nice, light, pretty eye look, and it was perfect for spring. Kittenfish is also in my BYOP at the moment, and I loved pairing these two together. I'm actually reminding myself that I want to do this look one more time before I change up my BYOP, because I loved how this one turned out. It was a very simple look, those two eyeshadow look, but I just loved how simple it was. Next up we have another look where I used a Source Guys. I used this a lot because I used it a lot in photos because I wanted to just show it off what it looks like. And as you can see here, I used it basically all over. Did I use anything deeper on my outer corner? I can't remember what I used. I don't actually think I might have just used a Source Guys on its own, and that's kind of what I have blended all over my lid. And then on my inner part of my lid I have a shade topped on top of it. I'm trying to think of what it is. It's one of or is it iridescent shades? It might be Ceres from Terra Moons, but I honestly can't remember fully what shade that is. But I just wanted to show you again a way that I use a Source Guys. I used this for filming, so it was a bit more in your face, but I really loved how it turned out. And again, it is more kind of a pastel-y spring look, and that's what I wanted with this eyeshadow look. Then the very final look we have is this one right here. I wanted to show you a look where I used, I believe, all of the shades apart from the glitter Castaway. In my here you can see I'm using a Source Guys again on my kind of outer crease, and then on my inner crease I'm wearing a green, and this green I believe was Meadow from Sydney Grace. It was also part of my BYOP, so I believe that was what it was. On my outer corner I am wearing a deep blue shade. I think I am wearing Gemoya, is that what it's called? Gigi from the Magic Mini palette again, on my outer corner, and then on the kind of outer part of my lid I am wearing Azure Skies, and then on like the middle to this inner part of my lid I am wearing that Tempting shade again from the Blueberry Muffin palette, and then on my very inner corner I'm tipped it off with one of my Cleona iridescent shades, which I believe was a Glimmer. It's one of the ones that shifts like bluish. Yeah, I used that on my inner kind of part of my lid, and then on my inner corner I used Sunbeam, so that's how I used that shade. So that is how I used all of the shades together, apart from obviously Castaway. I could have probably topped Castaway on top, but I didn't want to ruin the look because I really loved how this one turned out, and that is the very final look that I have to share. And with that, you guys, I'm gonna wrap up this video. I really hope you enjoyed this, and hopefully next month I will have quite a few rollouts. Again, this is my color stories, but I think next month I hopefully should be able to roll out the top 3 shades, fingers crossed. At least the top 2. These 2 should definitely be out. We'll see how I go with these 2. But I'm gonna really try to have 3 shades out again next month, because I just really want to switch up my color story as well as just get more shades into this project. But again, that is it for today. I really hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye guys.